Okay, I'm back with part two. I got the connection screwed up, so I had to reset it. Anyhow, bear with. I titled this one, "It Should Be Conducted Like an AA Meeting." That's all I know, really. But Putin and Ukraine and Zelensky from Ukraine, they sit down. But I'm watching all these guys from the, it's like a bureaucracy. And what we used to do with an AA meeting, sit down, go get some coffee. It's informal. I see a lot of these guys. Number one, they used to have smoking meetings. I forgot. You could smoke, get a cup of coffee. I started out on the Bowery, and it was all Korean World War II veterans, and the coffee cans filled with some sand or something. Those were the ashtrays, folding chairs. A lot of times in a church basement. So I went out to California. That was in New York. Went out to California. It's what you call country club. They all got clubs and fucking broads pulling up with the Mercedes and Porsches. The judges that get drunk driving had sent them to AA meetings for a year. Newport Beach, Costa Mesa. It's all fucking money, but what they say is it works if you work it. They give you a program. But I see so many, not to condemn, but I listened for a while, been listening for quite a while. And I look, so many of these people got got money. Like I watched that State of the Union for about a half hour last night. And these motherfuckers got money, man. They're all, ain't nothing new. Say they're all millionaires or better. My family, dysfunctional family, was when you ain't got nothing in your fucking pocket, you ain't got a place to sleep, you're trying to help yourself. That's not good enough. It's never good enough. So sometimes people let you sleep in a garage or on a couch or something. If you get lucky, maybe a girl will let you sleep in her bed with her. you know. You try to get on your feet. I just got my CDL license, and I had this girl that fucking whack, man. She's like a cocaine freak or whatever. God bless her. Anyhow, I see these. Like I noticed, if you step back a little bit, I'm looking at the people in the Ukraine, and I forgot. I was just taking a shower right now, and I says, "Oh, I remember when I went to Europe when I was 20, college kid, young, full of energy, drinking too much, but everybody's freezing cold out. I went on. I was a starving student. I think I had $200 and a plane ticket to Europe. And I was out there panhandling and trying to get laid, whatever. Looking different. Sometimes you go to an art museum; they got such great stuff, and you're meeting people from all over the world. But you don't have money. Your money runs out pretty quick, and I'm looking like I almost got into it with a couple of Ukraine truck drivers. They come over here. Now I say, okay, they're strong. They're what bugs me about them, the English is horrible. I had to go to elementary school for 8 hours a day for 8 years, and then high school, write reports, look up information, go to the library, hours every day, basically 8 hours a day, and then 1 or 2 hours a night homework, sometimes maybe more, sometimes all fucking weekend. You got to do a book report. I had to deal with my teachers. I guess they're all dead now, and then my parents. You had to do this shit. So I'm looking at them and I'm thinking, I see a lot of people that I feel bad for when they got a baby or something, or a little kid, and they got bombed. That's fucked up. But I was thinking too, like with what Tucker Carlson pointed out, some senators or congressmen, they had the Ukraine lapel pin. Back in the Vietnam era, I used to wear an American. I believed I was a patriot. I had a lapel pin, American lapel pin, and it says they all got a Ukraine pin and no American pin, which is basically disrespectful to our own country. Of course, what you hear now with the politicians, uh, it shouldn't surprise you. On the trucker convoy, one of them said, "It's we the people, not we the politicians." And I said, "Boy, you're hitting the nail on the head right there." Now, with the Canadian protests, the trucker protests, and all that, you're up against. As soon as they said we're going to have a protest here starting in L.A. and Washington State about 2 weeks ago, right away, Nancy Pelosi, I guess, let's send out 800 National Guard troops for the State of the Union. They didn't mention one thing about that. And put fencing back up, like the January 6th rioting. It's like they keep, like Hillary said back in when she was running against Donald Trump, she called the she's an elitist. She called the people below her, the working people, deplorables. I notice Putin or some of the Russians, they're calling the Ukrainians no good bums. Well, you can't pass a. It sounds like you're a drunk. Like I used to do shit like that when I was drunk. But these are our leaders, and they're supposed to be held to a higher standard of conduct. I've been with bums, I've talked to bums, tramps, hobos, thieves. Fucking, I've been in jail 50 fucking times. Some guys don't have, most people aren't too intelligent. I always thought that everyone in America was educated or had to go finish high school, but not so. I see, high school dropouts. Like my ex's, she dropped out when she was 14. uh, we would bump heads because when you start talking about other than fucking and sucking and getting high and getting drunk, you talk about something else or watching movies and make a comment on a movie. And I'm watching one of my movies and she didn't get it. I says, well, what they're trying to say, is this or that, make some conversation. I'm not going to say intellectual conversation, but just, a conversation to kill some time or something. Uh, I said, this girl here, it's what you call back in the 60s. They used to test you for your comprehension level. Do you understand? Do you comprehend what what it is that they're teaching you on one subject or the other? So I did well on that, and I'm looking. She don't get it. This, that, this, the other. I tell her what I'm trying to do. I just started a used car lot. So what I'm trying to do is sell cars and make money, but you got to get a license. You got to put up a bond. You got to get a place. I had this old guy from Chicago that used to own the longest bar in Chicago, Ray something. I forget his last name. And he walked me through this shit. He got me started like he was like a mentor. He was selling a truck with 600 horsepower. I was going to buy that and pick my loads down in the harbor of Long Beach, start making some real money. But he starts talking to me. He says, I was thinking about you because I had talked to him for a little bit. He says, you're a pretty sharp guy. I got an idea to go to the auctions and sell to the people from Beverly Hills to save money. You get a used car, you fix it up, and sell it for, these people spending 60,000 and more for a Mercedes usually don't have a problem, but they like to save money. So sometimes it's hard to save money. It's not easy, but that was the idea. And then, you know, I was talking to the girl. I already lost her. She didn't comprehend or didn't want to listen to anything I was saying or whatever. But I talked to her some more. It's been after 30 years. I try to break from her because it's just not happening. But she still don't get it. I talked to her about what's going on. She don't get it, or she just got her idea. Period. And uh, she's still in like that survival mode. I understand that you take that survival mode, like most of us, just surviving. I've been doing pretty good the last 2 years, better than I had, but it's nothing to write home about. But I feel good about myself. But financially, I had 7 grand. I'm down to 3,500. Big fucking deal. Got to go back to work. But I'm looking at these politicians. We're sending millions or billions of dollars for help and this and that. The politics of it. We can't attack Russia because then we got World War III and then Putin threatening nuclear power. Don't anybody get involved and all this kind of shit. Now, the protesters I'm looking in Russia, they're nice people. They look good, but they start protesting. I think there was a couple of thousand people and they got a peace sign or something. Motherfucking cops. There was a lady with a baby that lock them up quick. Excuse me. They say they're looking at 20 years for going against getting locked up probably in Siberia for 20 years, like treason. Over in this country, it's the opposite. You can commit treason, and if you know Hillary Clinton, you get off, or the Department of Justice don't enforce that, whatnot. So when these people are protesting, one one person made a comment. Well, if there's 10,000 or more people protesting in Russia, the cops can't get all of them. But the idea is if you lock up enough of them and give them a long sentence, it's no use to protest. It's not worth it because you're going to be locked up. Now, some people, uh, I don't want to be locked up. I've been locked up 50 times. I don't want to be locked up. Most 90% of that was being drunk and disorderly, and I quit drinking, and I realized that goes with the territory. That's bullshit. I don't want that. I have a choice. I'd rather be sober and poor, because you always get a buck or two somewhere, you know. And now I'm doing really better than never had it so good, as we say. But uh, it's sad, the way they're killing people, and you see the whole world and comparing Putin to Hitler, world domination. But the reason I'm talking today and I give my opinion, my 2 cents, my comments, is because caught the tail end of that, but since the 50s, and I'm just so sick of that Cold War and Russia's threat of nuclear weapons. They had missiles aimed back in the 50s. They had missiles aimed at 40 large American cities. And I thought we got rid of all that, and Russia became a democracy about 25 years ago or so. What happened to that? Now we're back to the 50s. Now with the nuclear shit, it's not just them. It's China, Iran, and Korea, and India. They all got nuclear weapons. So it's fucked. Now, it's worse than it was. So I'm looking at all these politicians, this and that and the other, and I think Trump was on the right path. With all they respect is might, strength, which boils down to oil, energy, and this Green New Deal. It says that the oil we're getting is not refined as good as we do in America, but you got this Green New Deal, the Squad, and all that. They almost got Joe Biden by his nuts. Closed down the pipeline and buying oil from Russia. We're giving them money for their bullets and bombs. you know, that's how stupid it is. So uh, I had a buddy here in El Paso, a Medicare guy that, man, we bumped heads. Now we agreed we can disagree, but I couldn't believe me and him was believing, totally different. And I would try to talk to him, explain. Now, he was a big guy, he was an ex-cokehead and a current alcoholic. So I'm talking to the devil itself. And he got a family. I'm single, so whatever. But he was more into money. I'm more here fixing my truck and getting my hands dirty. And we just didn't. The relationship deteriorated, and he's like 5 years, 6 years younger than me, and starts making a difference when you're talking to somebody. Most of the time, I find. But like I say, I'm looking at all these people, and they got. What about the homeless and the veterans? I seen so many veterans my age group that they're not being taken care of in the medical. The medical is a fucking horror story. Trump started on that, and then fund the military, fund the police. Need law and order and strength, and starting to uh, make everything in America. Now Biden said a lot of that, and he put his emotion in it. He lost his son. His son was in the army or something, got a brain tumor. Now my son had a little brain tumor, and I they gave him medicine. It went away. It took about a year and a half, but the doctors are not all on the same page. I don't see why. There's another doctor from Mexico that was down here. He said I can put a laser tube through his nose. It was behind his eyeball, and get rid of that tumor. It was small, 10 millimeters. He says, piece of cake. Well, I didn't know. I had stepped on a Coke bottle top back in the 60s. And I cut a little tendon on my foot. It just bothered me when I sobered up. I went to the guy from India. He says, if I cut it open, I says, can you cut that open and fix it or what? I didn't know what to do. But it just, it just little pain there every time you're walking or whatever. And he says, well, summer was coming up. He said, you're going to go to the beach. You're going to get sand in it. And he says, I'll give you some pills. So he gave me pills like for a month. And it straightened the pain out right quick. But don't all the doctors know that? I guess not. Internal medicine, they called it. But it just makes me wonder, now, what they used to say, my mother told me, she said, war makes money. Well, follow the money. Who's making that money? Going back to the round and round she goes, and where she stops, nobody knows. Well, it's just sad. It's not the politics in this country. Trump gave a speech at that CPAC Saturday night or something, and he's talking. I like the. He's from Long Island, from a wealthy family. I'll listen to him to a degree. And then I was watching a thing on Stormy Daniels and Melania. They're all trying to make it big. I'm the first lady, like Jackie Kennedy, the American dream. Well, it's okay to have dreams, but you have to be. This is my father. You have to keep in the AA meetings. Keep your. It's okay to walk with your head in the clouds and make sure your feet are on the ground. Be realistic. Now, there's a lot of opportunity in America. Just because you're black or Mexican doesn't mean you're going to make it, without working. Either way you go, they call going to school, going to college, work, and then go work for a senator or a judge on the summer. They call that work. I call it paper shuffling, but okay, at least you're doing something. You're not committing crime. So it's like Joe Biden. It's like in their 47 years since he started. And I think that kind of a leadership position should have term limits, like the president. Otherwise, it starts, like the Constitution, it starts turning into a dictator, a tyrant. They're supposed to give their best for 4 or 8 years. That's if the people working for the people, working for the good of the people or the good of the communities, etc., for the kids to have a better opportunity than we had. But I think they get sidetracked, and I really can't blame them. They're only human. There's huge money behind the scenes. That's temptation. Now, I've seen Joe Biden at a prayer breakfast about 3 weeks ago. And I said, how does this guy go into I thought it was a Protestant morning breakfast service or whatever. They had breakfast. Yeah, I see him today with that Ash. That's Catholic. This is Ash Wednesday or something, whatever. Easter's coming. But if you're religious or you believe in God, and doing the right thing, I've always believed in God, but I wasn't always doing the right thing. So, uh, but the whole premise of being a politician or a president is that you're a servant, and that's not a derogatory term. You're a servant of the people. You're there to work for the people, for the communities, for the good of the families, etc., etc. And looking at the teleprompter, okay, we're all Americans and we should do this and we should do that. I'm going to do this, and you're lying through your fucking teeth because you don't do shit. You got records, we got videotapes. You said this, now you flip flopped on it. You start looking. Well, you worked your way up, from the Senate. My brother was going to run for senator of Arizona back in the 60s. I was 13, 14 years old, and he lost, I think, to Barry Goldwater. You go on door to door, putting a sign with his picture on it, Rosendo Gutierrez. And anyhow, fast forward, I'm in New York for a while. He come out to visit. I go to a play or something. I had a friend over there. And I'm talking to him. I says, you know what I figured out when you were running there in Arizona. Number one, Arizona politically in the politics, there's some very rich, people that got money, affluent people. I say you're Mexican, a cheap bastard. And I says you don't have that big money, you know. So uh, Kennedy, got Joseph Kennedy was bootlegging, had that big money. Some of that big money goes to the mafia and rigged the election. LBJ used to. They said he had $1 million a day coming in from an oil company. He had that was back in the '60s. $1 million a day, man. Whoa, you you're like a king. What? So that's I don't know. Like Rodney King hit the. He had a gem. Why can't we all just get along? Like I said, I was on the streets of New York, and he used to have the men's shelter. You had 3 meals a day. There was like 11, 1,200 guys per meal. Filthy, ragged ass bums, whatever, winos. Yeah, they would. There's some weird motherfuckers in there, man. Weird motherfuckers. Nasty, You get fucked over if they catch you by yourself, as being like in prison or something. But they had a medical. They would refer you. The city would pay for that. That was back in the '70s. So what they're talking now with instead of sending a cop, send some social workers. And I think that's a very good point to a degree. I'm scratching my head. I left back in 1980, 81 from New York, went out to LA. Aren't aren't these facilities still in place? And when I got out to California, we're having the same discussion. Oh, Reagan closed all the nut houses, all the mental health facilities in California. Let's talk about that. Reagan, an actor connected to the Department of Justice. Uh, if you're down on the luck, on your luck, and I've seen veterans, there are a lot of guys out there drinking and drunk and whatnot, and they come home, the wife divorced them for some reason or the other, and they start drinking, and I say, what the fuck? I didn't go to Vietnam, but if I'd have made it back, I sure the hell would. Uh, I know they give you an FHA loan to get a house, to have one built or something, and then pay for your college. That was the idea since the 50s, I think, with under Eisenhower. And your wife and kids, now you got your house, and then you got a good job. You get educated, get a trade. So my sister's husband did. He became a lawyer. I think my dad, that was an argument, but my mom said my dad helped him out with some money for law school. Whatever, the guy did well. Uh, not Vietnam, he was in peacetime in the Air Force, but I'm just trying to figure out what now in New York, I dropped out of college, and there's an Italian guy. He says, it's not what you know, it's who you know. I'm looking at Michael Francis and Sammy the Bull. We're all about the same age. They're, to me, they're doing well, and they got hellified connections. So I don't know. I just went back to what my dad had taught me. He says, you get a job and you do your best and you make a certain amount of money. And he says, save pennies, nickels, and dimes. It adds up after a while. Then he said, after a while, after years, now you got some money saved up. He bought 7 rental houses, got some stocks and bonds and all this shit. And when he died, now he never said a fucking word about all this shit. When he died, I realized how much he had. And my mother, the same thing. He says, I don't have to worry about nothing. I'm comfortable. And the older I get, I'm 72 and a half. I'm like, shit. What scares me is that medical thing. And driving a truck is not the healthiest job. There's a little exhaust leak, and then my old Cadillac, I forgot. Oh, they rushed me. I forgot to. I got to take out 2 bolts that are broke off in that cylinder head on the exhaust pipe. Not on. To attach the exhaust to the cylinder head. And when I'm driving, I got used to that. Fucking crazy. I got used to that shit. Always smelling gas and exhaust. And my son had asthma, and he was always going nuts. So what the fuck's the matter with. I had a girl come from San Diego, my 14-year-old girlfriend. I got a hold of her on Facebook. And she rode in the car. He was running like shit. Quit running back then. Started missing like hell. But she says, "What's that smell?" And I said, "Shit, I got used to it, man. That's my dad said you can get used to anything." So, in such a hurry, I got my mind. I got to do this and that. Took care of my son. Like Joe Biden says, I took care of. I was a single dad for 5 years. Hey, motherfucker, try 17 years, cocksucker. Try that one on for size without no money. It's no use arguing or hating the whole world and all, but I'm just putting that out because uh, my dad and mom helped me, and I got social disability for my son, but I was like getting like 1,000 a month, $10 a month left over. I mean, just mostly for food and shit. You don't know what that's like. Like Hillary Clinton with Chelsea takes a village. Yeah, well, you're in the governor's office at the time. I said, must they're making money. They're not $1,000 a month, and you got access to you send a Secret Service or your bodyguards or whatever, the security guy to go get some diapers at the store for you, or somebody's going to take care of your child care and all that. You got a normal kid, I got a disabled kid. I got two words for you. Fuck you. You don't know. So uh, I'm just putting that out there. I'm trying to drop it to let it go. Uh, so anyhow, that's the deal. It's kind of messed up. I don't really have any solutions. I think everybody uh, is on the same page more or less. It's just little things that strike me as now when you see something you want, you're acting all different. But we still, the poor people in the United States and the working class is still says wages increased 5%, but the price of inflation raised 7%. Well, you do the math. So now you're losing 2% every day, every time you buy something. So you're losing. And Biden gets up there and twists the word. It's a word game, semantics. And Nancy Pelosi sitting there smiling with that crazy look. Yeah, fuck you, man. You made $30 million on playing the stock market, insider trading. You ought to be in jail. You ought to be in prison. That's what. You're no fucking good. Let's go back to Nancy Pelosi's district in San Francisco. More people on the street. They're all shooting dope, shitting on the street. You know, uh, that's your district. That's what you represent for years. Now they'll tell you in front of the TV camera, well, I've been in Congress for 30, 35 years, and Joe Biden, the same thing, 47 years. They interviewed some people from Scranton, Pennsylvania, where Joe Biden's from. I went through Scranton there. I seen they renamed the street after him, Joe Biden Boulevard or something. But they were talking to the local people going to the grocery store or Walmart or something. What is Joe Biden? That stupid motherfucker. They ain't done nothing for us. Nothing. Think about it. But I says, he got up there, and my son died, and he was in the army. I know what it's like. On that point, okay, I understand. You lost your son. I lost my son. I understand that. It's coming from the heart. But everything else, zero, zip, nada. You're fucking everybody over. You're taking a little 2%. Everything, gas is up here like this. People got to get to work. Everybody's struggling. You know that, living paycheck to paycheck. These are the American people. It's about the people, not the politics. And on that point, I'm going to say, now you're doing wrong. Now you're no fucking good. Fuck you. You've gotten off track. You forgot where you came from. You're greedy. You're looking at that mansion, and well, Nancy Pelosi's got a mansion, and she just flew to Italy. She flew to Hawaii, and Kamala Harris, and all that shit. And that's one thing I'll say about AOC, that Alexandria Ortez Court, whatever her fucking name is. She's from the Bronx, and she now and then, once in a while, in front of the TV cameras. Well, the poor people from the Bronx or whatever. Yeah, right. They interviewed people in New York, in the Bronx. What's she doing? She's in Congress, the senator, whatever. She ain't doing the who. Just struggling, man. I know. I lived in New York City for. It's insane, man. But I know back in the 70s, they had, for poor people, Donald Trump had built some housing for poor, middle class, and upper middle class, something like that. But he did include the poor. Charles Grodin interviewed him one time. He says, "What have you ever done?" Because he was getting kind of in being a celebrity, television celebrity. He says, "What have you ever done to help the poor people?" And he didn't hesitate. He says, "Well, we're just finishing up some." I tip my hat to the guy. Got some low income housing. I know what it's like. I had a couple of apartments in the East Village. It was $250 a month. That was a lot of money for me back then. I had been driving a cab for about 2 or 3 years and making a little bit of money, and I got an apartment. I'm looking at what's his name? One of them black comedians. He's on the Family Feud. He says, "Oh, I was sleeping in my car, and when I first started being a comedian, yeah, I know what that's like. It sucks." Now he made it. And I said, "Well, I was sleeping in my car. I was sleeping on the street. How come somebody ain't nudged me with an elbow and said, 'Hey, Vic, come on over here. Got something for you.'" Maybe it's because I'm not black. We used to call it discrimination, and then also reverse discrimination. I'm just putting that out there, you know. Because Steve Garvey, yeah, I want to tap him on the shoulder. "Hey, buddy, you ain't that funny." I'm listening to him on YouTube. "You ain't that funny." And then if you are, like Chris Rock, that motherfucker's funny. And Eddie Murphy was never that funny. But you're in the right place at the right time. And then go on, like Eddie Murphy and so many of the Saturday Night Live, go on and make a movie. Chevy Chase, make a movie. Stop making that big money. That was a stepping stone. Keep going. And then after a while, by the time you're 40 years old, I don't want to see you on television every fucking day. You should have made your money. That last movie, like Jim Carrey, back in the 80s, $20 million. $20 million. I don't want to see you no more. You're not that funny. You made it. Good for you. Invest your money. Now let's see how smart you are. Oh, you used it all. Hammer, MC Hammer. Motherfucker made money, but he got an entourage. Everybody got the handout. The guy's broke. What, back in the 90s or something? What? Well, you a stupid son of a bitch. I don't care if you're black, white, green, polka dotted. You gotta. That's part of reality. That was your line of work. That was your choice. You made it. Good for you. You know, good music, and that's what you got to tell the young people. All the white guys got the long hair want to be a rock and roll star. And I said, listen, they're coming into the AA meetings in Long Beach out there. Say, look, hey, go for it. I was trying to be a rock star, the Stones and the Beatles, all that. And after a while, after it was all through high school, I didn't make it. Oh, well, go do something else, learn business, go to school, get a job. Hello. I bought a guitar and a little amp just to relax myself because I says, you used to play, to pick it up again, just to relax for my enjoyment. And like I'm doing right here, this is just mostly for my enjoyment. It's like therapy a little bit. As you can see, I got the house is a mess, but at least I got a house. And disposable ink. I don't have a Ferrari parked out front of my house. Let me tell you that. I got the 68 Caddy in the backyard for about 2.5, 3 years, trying to fix it, trying to learn all this stuff. But there's nothing wrong with that. I got food in the refrigerator. I've been eating, trying to get healthy. Uh, just a couple of bucks here. Like I said, I fixed the toilet. I spent 16, 18, 19, with $22 with tax. Took me about 5 hours altogether. Fixed 2 toilets. I'm fucking happy. That shit it was leaking. That shit's costing me money. Not much, $1 a day or something. But I put it off for about 3 weeks. I said, there goes $25. Fix it. So I fixed it, and I said, whew, okay, now I'm saving money. Keep not wasting water and all that shit. I put it all out there because I think it's important. It's a little thing, a lot of times, little things that are overlooked, that if you overlook it, it becomes a bigger thing, a bigger thing, a bigger thing. Before you know it, it's out of control. And that's also why I see what I see on the news with the politicians and all the journalists and all this shit. What about the little things? What about the little things? I look at these people and say, well, take it with a grain of salt. Take it for what it is. Don't expect too much out of these people. And I'm looking at them, they 25, 30 years old. They're just kind of getting into, they go there with a camera and they're talking on television. This is what's going on. I don't hear, oh, it's a shame. Well, Biden is to blame. Trump's to blame. Do you have a fucking solution? Can you go to the next level, comprehend what's going on, and think about it for a while and come out with a solution? Well, I called my representative. And what did they do? Well, they never got back to me. That's all. They never got back to me. These women are getting fucked around in the school and, all kinds of issues. We call congressmen, senators, whatever, representatives. They never got back. This lady wrote to 3,000. She got COVID and she's like got laid off. Got a kid to her 11-year-old boy. I wrote to 3,000 letters, I guess, to everybody. 3 people got back to her. We'll look into it. They just told you to fuck off. And I say shit. I don't have an answer. I mean, but it's like the thing to do with these younger people, girls about 20, about 30 years old, big fat. Where number one, where's your husband? I don't know. I don't even know if I think they. I don't know if they did away with welfare or food stamps or disability. She's trying to get disability. They turned it down for that. Put a mask on, go to fuck to work. you know. Hello, family, friends, and family. But they didn't have all this social media. I tried it, I think, once or twice. That GoFundMe. Motherfuckers make what's that? Black Lives Matter. They raised like 50, $100,000 in a couple of days. It was one something about the southern border or something. They raised at AOC. I think she raised $2 to $4 million in a week or something. GoFundMe to help the children from Honduras or some shit, something like that. I never heard another word after that. Well, that's good, the social media, but what I want to hear what did you do? Did you go down there and distribute the money? Did you sit there and hand out Happy Meals from McDonald's? Did you hand everybody a blanket? What did you do? Never heard nothing about it. Well, America. Oh, I'm on television. I raised $4 million. Well, I'm young. Fuck Joe Biden. I got him by the balls. Yeah, you do. But did you follow through? I never heard nothing else. You know the story. Most people, like Hillary, went down to Haiti when they had that hurricane. She went down. They said she went down. They got off the plane. 45 minutes later, she's on a plane coming back. Oh, you must have done a real thorough job of investigating. Did you talk to the people? Did you buy people some meals, something to eat, or something? No, nothing. I didn't have. They got millions from what I've seen. They got millions from the government, and they got contractors to go build some new huts in Haiti or something. And then they interviewing the people from Haiti. It's 5 years later. We're still living in a hut with garbage all over, and oh, they built a couple of houses, then they left. What about that, Hillary? But no, last week she's up in Midtown New York at the Democratic CPAC, whatever they. That's let me listen. There's hope in America, and that fucking bastard Donald Trump. No, I want to hear. Well, let's stop for a second. Let's go back to Haiti. What happened? Did you finish with that? People stalking are still in poverty. So what good did you do? Well, at least I went down there for 45 minutes. Let's hear about that. Oh, fucking Hillary. Oh, yeah, let's have a woman. And that's all acting. That's all acting. So the Democratic Party and the elites and the celebrities they hate Trump and all that. Robert De Niro, I used to love the guy. Now he's got another new movie where he's an old stud or something, banging his young broad, whatever. I was on the streets. Robert De Niro had an apartment from 14th Street. We're about the same age. Let's go from there. Oh, you was Italian. You got mafia connections. Oh. Well, let's go from there. Next thing, you're a big movie star. Okay, God bless you. You're good. I've watched him. You're a good actor. You do what you. Let's talk about your love life. Your wife. You got a divorce. Where's your kids? Never see all the real stuff. Like I say, don't send me no death threats. I really don't give a fuck what you think. I'm just stating facts as I see them, and it just I don't know, man. I don't know. We used to talk about this in New York. If you had money, you'd probably money does change people. I see some pastors, some ministers are talking uh, misinformation or whatever. I said Joel Epstein from Houston. Love the guy. Listen to him. Just he's got his hand in the cookie jar. Maybe he's taking money. Talking. He's raising millions. Well, did you build did you build a gymnasium for the elementary and the high school kids so they got a place to go play basketball or little baseball field, softball, whatever they like? Did maybe a swimming pool if you got extra couple of $1 million extra? Whatever. Tennis courts, badminton, all that shit don't cost nothing. When you got that kind of money, but see, it goes to the head. Oh, you got to buy him a new Learjet, first of all, to fly, to talk all around the world. You see where I'm going? You know, I want to see this reverend from Chicago. He's outside up in a tent on a third. Been outside for 100 days. It's freezing, ain't it? Let's see. They want to build a facility for the youth after school or something. Have a little athletic program. I look back at my childhood, elementary school, mostly that. Man, that would have been a dream. We had a couple, but not much. You just go play every day for like an hour at school, PE, physical ed. But uh, we had a baseball team. I got on the baseball team, and you got to come after school, maybe on Saturday to practice and all that. But that was big stuff, man. And we go to other high schools or other elementary schools. Basketball, same thing. I wasn't too good at basketball, but I got on there for a while. That was big stuff when you were a kid, man. That's big stuff. And somebody's paying for it. I don't know, but it's worth it. I hadn't thought about that for years, but that's what it's all about. The kids. I'm not going to drool on it like Nancy Pelosi and half them perverts. And it's all the children. The children, yeah, you want to eat them or kill them or sell them. Fuck, I'm not talking about that. Now, Nancy, get off your fucking high horse and go out and play with your grandkids or something. Take them to the park or the baseball field or whatever they like. I want to see that. Said Trump had his grandkids with him, walking, going somewhere. Yeah, I want to see that. Joe Biden, you got grandkids. Oh, he's on crack. Let's go smoke crack together. Your son. I was looking at Hunter Biden. I guess 7, 8 rehabs, got off the shit. Nice looking guy, but uh, other than selling the country out, being treasonous, are you dating? Are you going to AA meetings? What are you doing? Oh, you got millions, so you just deviant pleasures, you know. Hilton, Paris Hilton. Okay, you got married to some limp wristed. Okay, you're all for. Okay, that's fine. Now, can we not see you like the Kardashians? Can we not see you every fucking day on AOL or on television? Well, my ass grew an inch overnight. I don't want to hear about your ass growing. Are you doing it with your millions? Millions in a family? What are you doing? But you build a new library for the kids and not perverted materials, just history, sports. I guess you could stay at home and watch YouTube and find out what you like. That's better, I think. As I'm looking over here to fix my car, fix my truck, there's a ton of shit. They show you how to do it, explain it to you. Like some guys, I can't stand them, but I changed. There's another guy that's an old timer or a redneck or something. He's showing me getting his hands dirty. Not everybody's rich, Like I'm looking at counting cars. I like the guy. He's all right, but he helped out a lady from Florida, a couple from Florida. They had a disabled kid or something. They built a hot rod and a half. I mean, knock your socks off. Gave it, donated. Well, God bless you, man. That's the way it works. That's the way it works. So that's my 2 cents. I'm going to wrap it up. Everybody have a nice day, a nice night. Let's pray to God everything works out in this stupid war. It's stupid. Stupid. Come to some kind of agreement. There's money out there. I don't know. Putin, I don't know what the fuck. He's not helping his people. It's just you got a yacht and Formula One race car. What the fuck do you need, man? Now I know he's 3.5 years younger than me. Somebody need to take him out. That's what the CIA used to do. Why don't they? And then, I haven't even gotten started on China. I'm just sick of this shit because it's been going on for a long fucking time. The Vietnam War, that was China and Russia. Uh, Sick of that shit, man. It tells you one thing, that them people ain't gonna stop. You're talking 70 years that I know of. That's a long time, man. There's no reason for that shit. So anyhow, have a good evening.